Every night your consciousness dissolves into an infinite sea of images, symbols and sensations. And yet, every morning as your eyes open to the waking world, it's as if a veil is drawn, tight and silent. The dreams vanish like whispers in wind, like sacred messages erased before your soul could read them. Why does this happen? It's not just forgetfulness. It's a deeper mechanism, hidden, persistent, unnerving. You are not losing your dreams. You are being pulled away from them. Every morning, a part of you returns, but not all of you. The essence that journeys in the dream world, fluid, intuitive, limitless, does not fully integrate back. And the reason? You have been trained to prioritize only one state of being, the waking mind, logical and alert, cut off from the depths. But the dream world is not a fantasy. It is a mirror that shows you the invisible. It reveals your wounds, your longings, your connections beyond time. And losing it every night is not accidental. It's programmed, a collective habit rooted in fear of what dreams might unveil. The truth is uncomfortable. You forget your dreams because they challenge your identity. They question the solidity of your reality. They open doors you were taught to keep shut, and so your mind, conditioned for control, buries them before you remember. But there is another way. If you choose to stay awake as you sleep, if you invite presence before closing your eyes, the veil can thin. You can reclaim the language of your dreams, and with it, awaken more than memory. You awaken your true self. Si estas palabras ya tocaron tu alma, suscríbete al canal y comparte en los comentarios. ¿Qué vibración sientes ahora dentro de ti? Ahora vamos continuar. Dreams are not random flickers of a resting brain. They are not noise, they are not chaos. Dreams are structures of meaning built in realms your waking self can barely comprehend. They form in layers of perception where time bends, where symbols speak louder than words, and where emotion is the architect. Each dream is a transmission, crafted by your deeper consciousness, delivered in the language of the soul. A language your intellect cannot decode, but your heart instinctively understands. Why then is it so easy to dismiss them? Because the architecture of dreams exists in a frequency that the ordinary mind has been conditioned to ignore. It's subtle, like wind through silk. It requires silence, curiosity, and surrender to even begin to notice. And in the rush of daily life, you forget how to listen. But the dreams remain. They build themselves every night, not only from your fears and desires, but also from energies not bound to your individual experience. Collective memories, ancestral patterns, future echoes, all flowing through you in symbolic form. You walk temples of light, speak to beings made of thought, revisit choices not yet made. And yet upon waking, it all slips away, because your perception is tuned to solidity, not subtlety. To remember your dreams, you must first believe they matter. You must treat them as sacred, not entertainment. You must invite them, thank them, record them, and dwell in them as if they are just as real as your waking hours, because they are. This is not imagination. This is the restoration of inner sight. To rebuild the bridge between waking and dreaming, you must become fluent in silence, attuned to symbols and willing to unlearn everything you think is real. There is a hidden current within your mind, a filter, subtle and silent, that decides what enters your awareness and what is discarded. This filter is not your enemy, but it has been shaped by a world that fears the unknown, and dreams are the purest form of the unknown. Upon waking, this filter activates almost immediately. It prioritizes names, tasks, identities. It restores the familiar architecture of who you think you are. In doing so, it deletes everything that doesn't fit, and dreams rarely do. They speak in contradictions, in impossible geometries, in truths that cannot be contained by logic. And so, the mind erases them. But have you ever paused upon waking and felt a strange echo in your chest? A feeling with no name, an image flickering just beyond your grasp. That is the residue of your dream self, knocking on the door before it fades. This amnesia is not total, it is trained. From childhood, we are taught to value the tangible and dismiss the symbolic. We are rewarded for clarity, and punished for mystery. So your mind adapts. It stops bringing the dream world to the surface because you no longer ask for it. You no longer listen. To remember is to rebel. You must re-educate your awareness. Slow down your mornings. Resist the urge to reach for your phone, for the clock, for the mirror. Instead, sit in the in-between. Close your eyes again. Ask gently, where did I just go? Who was I? What was I shown? And wait. The more you honor the dream space, the more it will reveal itself to you. Memory is a muscle, attention is a bridge, and the part of you that dreams is still waiting to be welcomed home. You believe you are the one who dreams, but what if the truth is more subtle? What if you are being dreamed? There is a presence within you, older than your thoughts, quieter than your breath. It observes without judging, listens without reacting. It is this presence that moves through the dream world, unbound by your name or face. When you sleep, your constructed self dissolves, and this deeper consciousness takes the lead. But it does not speak in words. It speaks through landscapes that shift like emotions, through encounters that feel ancient, through moments that pierce you without explanation. And when morning comes, your smaller self, your daytime persona, does not know how to hold such magnitude. So it forgets. It turns away, not because it wants to, but because it has never been taught to look inward with reverence. The dreamer behind your eyes is not lost. It's patient. It leaves breadcrumbs, glimpses, sensations, synchronicities. It waits for you to remember that your essence is not confined to waking hours. It extends across lifetimes, across dimensions of experience that words can barely contain. You are not the dream. You are the dreaming. And each night is a return to source, a reconnection with the limitless field where all stories begin and end. If you quiet yourself enough, you can begin to feel the edges of this greater presence, even now, in stillness, in the space between thoughts. To meet the dreamer is to dissolve the illusion of separation. So begin with this question, held not in thought, but in presence. Who dreams me? Let that question echo through your being like a bell in a cathedral of silence, not to find an answer, but to awaken the part of you that already knows. Though your conscious mind may abandon the dream upon waking, your body never does. Every image, every emotion, every symbolic encounter leaves an imprint, not on memory as you know it, but on the somatic field. Your nervous system, your breath, your posture, these hold the echoes of your dreams long after your thoughts have let them go. Have you ever awoken with a heaviness you couldn't name? A subtle fear? A sudden peace? These are not random moods. They are residues of journeys taken while your eyes were closed. Your body was there. It felt the fall, the flight, the embrace, the loss. And though your mind cannot recall, your body integrates silently. This is why stillness upon waking is sacred. In those first fragile moments, before the world rushes in, your body holds a map, faint but present. If you listen not with thought, but with sensation, you can begin to reconstruct the dream from the inside out. Begin with breath. Notice where it is free and where it catches. Let awareness flow through your spine, your chest, your palms. Ask without words, what truth did I carry back? Often the answer will not be verbal. It will be a gesture, an image, a subtle opening. Your body is not separate from your dreaming self. It is the ground where unseen truths land. It is your living altar. And the more you tune into this somatic intelligence, the more vividly your dreams will return. Because they will know you are listening, not with intellect, but with embodiment. Remember, the body is a portal, not a prison. And within its quiet wisdom lies the key to the worlds you thought you had lost. There is a veil, luminous yet elusive, that separates your waking mind from the dreamscape. It is not made of darkness, but of too much light, a blinding return to linearity that erases the non-linear textures of your nocturnal journeys. This veil is activated the moment you open your eyes. Your senses flood with input. The room, the temperature, the name you carry, the roles you must perform. These impressions arrive with such force that the dream is swept away like footprints in water. Not because the dream was weak, but because the light of waking life is too harsh for subtle truths to survive. unless you train yourself to see in both realms at once. To pierce the veil, you must soften your entry into the day. Delay the rush. Keep your eyes closed a few moments longer. Let the border remain porous. Allow images to drift upward like smoke, fragments, feelings, colors. Do not demand meaning too quickly, or they will hide. Instead, sit in the mist and trust that what needs to be remembered will rise. This is the sacred transition, hypnopompia, a liminal space where both the dreaming self and the waking self coexist, however briefly. If honored, it becomes a doorway, not just to recall but to reintegration. Through it, you begin to stitch your fragmented awareness into wholeness, and over time the veil begins to change. It no longer conceals, it reveals, because the forgetting is not fixed. It is fluid, reversible, reclaimable. What once vanished now returns in symbols, in déjà vu, in sudden clarity that arrives for no reason. These are signs that the two worlds are merging, not to confuse you but to restore you to your multidimensional nature. You were never meant to forget. You were meant to remember everything. Remembering dreams is not a gift. It is a practice, a discipline of presence, a ritual of returning to yourself. Each morning offers an initiation. And like any sacred ritual, it requires intention, space, and trust. You must approach the dream not as a puzzle to solve, but as a message to receive. Not with force, but with openness. Begin before sleep. Before closing your eyes, place your hand on your heart and speak inwardly. Tonight I will remember what is important for my soul. This is not a command, it is a gentle invitation. A signal to the deeper layers of your being that you are ready to listen again. Keep a journal beside your bed, but do not rush to write. Upon waking, stay still, eyes closed. Let the dream rise like a tide. What emotion lingers? What landscape remains? What felt true even if illogical? Then write without editing. Let the fragments fall onto the page. You are not recording events. You are translating energy. And with time, a pattern will emerge, a voice, a rhythm. You will begin to see that your dreams are not random. They are relational, alive, responding to you. The more you honor them, the more they will return. And when they do, treat them as guides. Sit with their images, meditate on their symbols. Ask not, what does this mean? But rather, what is this showing me about my inner world? This is the path of dream retrieval, not recovery, but reunion. A reweaving of your waking and sleeping selves into a single thread of consciousness. You are not collecting memories. You are awakening forgotten dimensions of your own existence. And through this daily act of remembrance, you begin to live more fully, even while you sleep. Every dream you forget is not just an image lost. It is a message unopened, a mirror not gazed into, and often what it reflects is not what has happened, but what has not yet been lived. Dreams reveal the versions of you that wait in silence. The path not taken, the word not spoken, the courage not claimed. In your sleep, these unlived parts awaken. They shape scenes that stretch logic, but strike a deep chord within. You may not recall the details, but the emotional signature lingers, unsettling, mysterious, magnetic. Why? Because dreams bring the unconscious to the surface. They do not flatter, they do not filter. They show you what your waking life has edited out, your longings, your fears, your suppressed brilliance. Not to shame you, but to reintegrate what has been exiled. To forget a dream, then, is to miss an encounter with yourself. But the psyche is merciful. What is not remembered once will return in new forms, a recurring symbol, a repeated scenario. Even waking life begins to echo the forgotten dream, through synchronicities, challenges, or emotions that feel strangely familiar. This is not coincidence. It is the dream realm refusing to be silenced. You are being called back to fullness, and when you dare to look into that mirror, to embrace the fragmented, the shadowed, the unexplored, you begin to shift. You no longer fear the unknown within. You welcome it, you dance with it. And in that dance, new realities emerge, both in sleep and in waking. The unlived life is not lost. It waits in the dream, And the more you dare to remember, the more you become whole, not just in thought, but in being. There is a threshold few dare to cross, a space where awareness meets the dream, and you awaken within the dream itself. This is lucidity. Not the kind of control often imagined, where the dream becomes a playground for the ego, but a deeper lucidity, a conscious witnessing of the invisible without resistance or manipulation. You are there, yet vast. Aware, yet surrendered. The dream unfolds not from desire, but from essence. Lucid dreaming is not a trick, it is a return. A return to the natural state of the soul, awake in all dimensions, unafraid of mystery, attuned to the symbolic pulse of reality. And to reach it, you must begin not by changing your dreams, but by transforming your waking life. Ask yourself throughout the day, am I dreaming now? Let this question become a mantra, not to provoke paranoia, but to soften the borders of perception. When this habit carries into sleep, a moment will come when the dream responds, a flicker, a knowing, and then you remember that you are dreaming, and everything changes. In that moment, you are no longer a captive of forgetfulness. You become a conscious traveler. You can ask your dream direct questions, you can meet guides, you can receive healing. You can explore your soul's terrain with eyes open to the infinite. But lucidity is delicate. It is earned through reverence, not force. The more you honor the dream, the more it reveals. The more you surrender control, the more you gain access to truth. Lucid dreaming is not about escape, it's about return. Return to the truth that you are always dreaming, of lives, of stories, of realities. And the real awakening is to recognize that every moment, even this one, might also be a dream. You were never meant to live divided, half awake in daylight, half asleep in your own depths. The fragmentation is not natural, it is inherited, taught, reinforced. But your essence remembers a time before forgetting, a time when dream and wake were one flow, when every symbol was sacred, when inner and outer danced without separation. This memory is not fiction. It lives in your bones, in the quiet knowing that whispers at dawn, there is more than this. And that more is not elsewhere. It is here, veiled by noise, but waiting, always, just beneath the surface. To reclaim your dreams is to reclaim your soul's language. It is to say, I am ready to remember. Not just what happens when I sleep, but who I am beyond form, beyond time, beyond thought. And in that remembering, life itself begins to change. You start to notice the dream in everything, the way a stranger's glance carries a message, the way a breeze echoes something once felt, the way a sentence in a book answers a question you never spoke aloud. This is the awakening. Not a thunderclap, but a soft unraveling, a shift from separation to symphony, a return to the dream not as escape, but as compass. You begin to dream while awake, to walk through life as a lucid being, aware, tender, present. And sleep becomes not an ending, but a continuation, another chapter in your unfolding. So tonight, when your head meets the pillow, do not close your eyes with indifference. Whisper to your soul, take me to the edge of remembering. Let me walk the luminous path. Let me return with truth in my heart. And trust, your dreams are already waiting for you. Even now, as these words dissolve and the silence returns, a part of you lingers, in between. Not fully awake, not fully asleep, just present. This is the space where the dream never ends. You may not remember every image, every message, every sensation, but something deeper remains, a vibration, a resonance, a call to live with more awareness, more softness, more reverence, because the dream was never separate from life. It was simply speaking in another language. Now you carry that language within you, in your breath, in your gaze, in your stillness. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that the unseen is not unreal, that mystery is not absence but presence in its purest form. So sleep with intention, wake with wonder, and move through your days as if every moment holds a symbol, a clue, a quiet gift from your deeper self. You do not need to remember every dream to be changed by them. You only need to listen. The dream remains, and so do you.